welcome back. This time I decided to do a floor plan of sorts. I just looked at the outside and kind of made the house around it. So let's see what we did. I did my best, but here we are. I'm kind of getting started trying to figure out the floor plan based on the exterior of the house. It's a little difficult sometimes, of course, but I was just kind of looking and deciding where things were going to go. I wasn't quite sure. I couldn't decide on the windows because I know the third window, or at least the window in the middle on that floor there, um, had that kind of design. But the only design that I saw like that was a door. So I was like, I don't know if a door is going to work or not. So I left it there for a minute. And then I realized that I needed to make the left upstairs a little bit smaller because it wasn't quite right. I needed a two square space between the two sides, and then the two sides were also the same size, which they weren't supposed to be. So I had to go back and fix that. And then I was trying to make sure everything was black windows because it just, in my eyes, was going to look better. So I decided to go ahead and start doing the little roof bit that's above that middle window, and then I needed the clear glass above the empty space down for the cover for downstairs. And that was a little difficult. Or at least I thought it was going to be a little difficult, which it actually wasn't. I was kind of impressed with myself. Um, but then I realized, it's just the downstairs seemed a little bit too small, and I thought that I should probably make it a little bigger. So that's kind of what I did there. I went back and forth with a couple of things, but not too many. I'm kind of one of those people that I can kind of see it first in my head and then try to incorporate what I'm seeing into when I'm building. Most of the time, most of the time I can get it right the first time, but not always. So, and you'll see that here with the bedrooms here in a bit because I realized at this point that, oh, I've got a door over on the patio and I wanted an open, wanted it to be open downstairs. So that was kind of going to affect my floor plan. And I realized I need to redo the upstairs. Um, so I had to kind of reconfigure and decide, okay, how is this going to work? Because I have no idea. I already had a plan in my head. So now I had to change it. So luckily, it worked out and it fit. I could get a double bed in each of the rooms, which is always my goal. Whether or not I put a double bed in there is a different thing. But as long as I can get a double bed in there, that's what's important. But you saw earlier that I had to move the stairs several times to make it work, and I did, and it did in the end. I don't think I moved the stairs anymore after this, but the windows had to be moved around a little bit for the way that I wanted it to look. And here I'm laying out the living room thinking I'm going to put a wall in the middle between the living room and the end of the house. And that changed at some point. You'll see I had to kind of reconfigure things a little bit there too. But I did want like a bar top, and I wanted it to be as open as possible, but still have a division. And that's when I brought these guys in. I do like to use those as a division thing. And then to do the upper cabinets, I like to do the wall. So that way it kind of gives you that modern 70s look, I guess. I wouldn't say mid-century, but it's like still a modern house, but going back to the 70s, which is kind of fun for me. Um, and then I was trying to decide on the bathroom there. I wasn't sure if the bathtub was going to work with the toilet there and the way the bathtub was, but I think it ended up being okay when I tested it with the sim. And now is when I decided to go back and change out those doors because it just wasn't going to work. So I ended up just doing the same window and then adding a little trick for privacy was using those same pieces and making them black and then crossing over. I think that worked out. You get that privacy. But by the time I was done doing that and I'm looking at it, I realized it was too much. There was too much going on in those windows and I didn't like it. So I did move those over because they were just clipping into the cabinets and I didn't like how that looked. And then, of course, the kitchen windows, there's always an issue because you can't match, generally speaking, you can't use the same windows that you've used throughout the entire build because, you've got counters that are in the way and cabinets up top that are in the way. So you got to kind of accommodate for that. But for the rest of the house, I used the big giant windows. I liked how that look. I think, or I like how it looks. I think it gives that modern look to it, and I really like that. It's kind of what I was going for. And then here, you can see I painted the outside and I did the upstairs, or not the upstairs, I did the roofing on it. Um, Not the roofing, the ceiling, and trying to get in the freezes and the roof trim and wall trims wasn't as difficult as I thought it was gonna be, or how difficult it usually is. I think I managed pretty well. Um, but here's when I was having trouble with the windows because I'm like, something just doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. There's too many cross hatches, and I ended up with this, and I think I like it this way. And then now I'm starting to do the yard, which in the picture it kind of tiered it down to just one gravel stone area. So I kind of had to move the plot a little bit and then kind of make sure it was the way I wanted it to look. Because, of course, it's never going to look exactly the way it looks in the picture because Sims, it's not to scale. So you just kind of have to play around a little bit to make it work, which if you've ever built, you'd know it just is what it is and you make it work however it works, right? So I kept on doing that, kind of maneuvering and moving things around. I wanted some plants next to the little fountain area there on the side. I didn't like that though, so I was like, you know what, let's put it closer. And when I was done, I really, really liked it. I did go back later and do the trim and everything, um, so that it looked better because those were just kind of placeholders. And then I was thinking about wrapping each one of those little stones around, and then I was like, no, I don't like it. So I decided on the bushy grass trim, I guess. And I was about right about here where I thought, oh my God, what if your Sims can't walk through here? I would have done all of this and I'm going to have to redo it. I was like, well, let's test it. Let's test a Sim and see if it actually works before I get too much further. So I don't know if I actually recorded me testing the Sim. I think I did. Yeah, here we go. So she can walk through it just fine. I was very, very happy with that because that means I didn't have to go back and redo it. And I really, really liked the way it looked. It's very neat and tidy and very streamlined, and that's what modern is. So I wanted to make sure that I could stick with that. And I don't think I did too bad of a job. I mean, it's not perfect, of course, but I like it. I think it looked nice. And then here I'm trying to pick the gravel sections as to, what color gravel, how dark gravel, but I didn't want it to be too dark. And then picking out the fountain, I remembered we had that giant fountain. I was like, yes, that's the one I want. That's the one I want. So I went back and got that one. And here I'm putting in the trim. So we got all that done. And then, yeah, that's when I sized down that tree because I couldn't find the right tree because it's kind of in the picture, it's kind of a bush, but not a tree. And when I saw that one, I was like, yeah, I think that might work. And it actually did work. So I was kind of happy about that. I thought it looked really cute. And yeah, of course, the back patio. I don't like straight lines for everything. I know it's a modern build and you're supposed to have straight, streamlined lines, but I just don't like it personally. I like things on an angle. I think it just gives more of a better look to it. So here, of course, I'm putting up the fence. You can see that. And then I decided I saw that bush fence in the corner, and I was like, you know what? Let's give that a shot. Let's try this one. And it actually worked out pretty well because you can still get to where you're going in the backyard, but not be completely open to everything. And I wanted to do something similar on the other side, but it just wasn't working with what I was picturing in my head. So I ended up making the a little well with the bushes. And then I thought, well, let's fill it up with plants or something. And I picked pine trees. I don't know why exactly, but that's what I chose. And I think it kind of looks good. It's different. I like to do different things that aren't too bad. Um, some people like it, some people don't, and that's fine. I do like to go back and pretend like I'm getting ready to upload it to the gallery so I can see what it actually looks like. And I also like to hit after I put in like the nighttime lights, I like to see what it looks like in the dark. Make sure I got enough lights or not too many lights. But, that's why you kind of it's a hit and miss. You play and you figure it out as you go. So, yeah, I did decide to go ahead and move the plot again because I thought that it was just a little too close and I thought that just kind of finished it off nicely. Really like that. And putting the purple flowers in there, I think just made it look so cute. It's like just enough, not too much. And let's see, what else did I do? Oh, yeah, I was looking at the flooring and things like that to try to figure out what I could do inside. So I made sure I went ahead and changed the furniture out to kind of better suit. And it, well, no, not yet. It was somewhere after this that I realized, oh crap, I don't have a place for the TV. I can't put up my wall because I've got my bar kitchen. I'm like, shoot. So I had to rethink that. And I'm kind of glad I did because then I realized I can put in a fireplace. But to be able to do that, I needed a little bit more space because this living room space that I had here, it wasn't enough. It just wasn't going to work. It was too tight, and I wouldn't have been able to get the bar stools in there like I wanted. So I ended up making the room just a wee bit bigger in the front, and I left the bathroom alone, but it still ended up looking pretty good, I think. It didn't really change too much of the aesthetic. Now, here I couldn't figure out how to get that trim on there. I couldn't remember if it was a frieze, if it was a wall trim, a roof trim. So I was playing with it back and forth until I figured it out, which I did. Um, I think it was a wall trim. I can't remember now, but it was one of the three. But I did figure it out. And then, choosing the right chimney that wasn't going to be too big or too tiny and wanting it to make it look good. Um, and then, of course, the beds, I had to find something that was kind of modern-esque because they're really, I don't personally think with the packs that I have, I don't personally think that I have anything that's really modern. But so trying to find something that is kind of modern-ish in the right colors can be a little difficult for me. I know that there's some people that are like, bloop, 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 and they've got everything picked out and they've got it figured out in an instant. And that's fantastic. I wish I could do that sometimes. But when it comes to builds, I can't always. Now, as much as I love this bed and I love the swatches, sometimes it is so, so difficult for me to find furniture that matches, not just the aesthetic, but the color. And yeah, as you could see there, I was having trouble with the nightstand because of the platform on the outside. It kept popping up. So I ended up changing the nightstands, which I'm glad I did because it made it easier. But I did test this all as well with my sim to make sure that they could get in, they could, sleep on either side of the bed, walk into others any side of the bed. Sorry. Um, and then instead of putting a dresser, I decided to put, like a little seating reading area, I guess. And this is when I noticed that I had that gap from the platform outside. So I was trying to find something that I could kind of cover that gap with. And then I remembered these. And I thought these looked perfect. I thought they went super well with the bed and the whole modern feel and everything. I just really, really, really liked it. And then, of course, the office, I went in with the white furniture just because white, gray, and black are pretty modern, I guess. And then the one thing I didn't understand is this rug, why it kept looking like it's floating there, but it's really not. I thought it was clipping with something, maybe it was the rug, maybe I needed to replace it or pick a different one, but it still kept doing the same thing. So I just went back to the original rug and said, I'm going to deal with it. So again, another gap that I had to fix or cover up actually. So I did. With some bookshelves. And then in the bathroom, same thing, just trying to figure out a good layout for it to make sure that it worked. Yeah, as you can see here, this is where I was testing my sim to make sure that she could walk around and get into the other side of the bed. And she was able to, so that's fantastic. I didn't place anything wrong. Thankfully, sometimes I do. and the tubs worked out just fine. I even flipped the one tub around and it still worked because I thought it wasn't going to, but it did. And I was so happy with myself. It made me feel really good. I like when I do things that make myself proud because then I just kind of pat myself on the back and I'm like, yeah, you did good. You done good. So yeah, I know it's silly, but it's the little things in life that, make you smile. I don't know how the saying goes. It's the little things in life and then the rest of the saying. And then I found those chairs luckily pretty quick. They kind of match the same color as the sofa and the chairs, so that way it all kind of comes together. And then the flooring that I barely ever use in the kitchen, also in the bathrooms, that's a flooring I rarely use, but it worked really well with the living room stuff. So I really, really liked it. So I'm hoping that this came out close. I think the interior and all that is, whatever, but this is the end result. This is what it looked like. So here is the final. And as you can see, there's landscaping, mailbox, there's a little patio, got a fountain, backyard. There's not a whole lot in the backyard, but I'll leave that up to you. There's even smoke coming out of the chimney, which is yay. Oops. Got the layout upstairs, layout downstairs, and yeah, let me just give you a quick walkthrough. So here we are outside. Got little patchy pieces of grass and gravel. And I did test it. Sim can walk through over that. Cute little fountain in the front. We've got lights going at an angle through the front yard. And I'm so glad you can now color or paint whatever the underneath of that. But mailbox is over there. You walk in. Oh, I didn't put anything on this wall. Oops. Anyway, you go through here. You have your bathroom. Decent size, not too bad. You got your shower curtains there. A little bit of privacy with the lattice work. You could go this way into the living room, but your sim cannot get through there. The only way is to get rid of that couch or that chair, and I'm not going to get rid of it. But I really like how the living room turned out. It's a little small, but it's not too bad. We've got our lights up there. You got a nice big TV. Oops, if you sit down, you don't have to strain your neck too much to watch TV. But we got some blankets. We've got our kitchen over here with the cabinets hanging up. Nice little bar stool. We've got some decor up here on the shelves, and you can add your own decor to that other shelf there. I just think it looked empty. Oop, go down. And then in here we have the dining room. That's the back door. Added some, I don't remember what those are called, but I added those to the wall just to add a little bit of texture, color, what have you. If we go upstairs, this is the landing, little bookcase, little office. I don't know why the rug does that. I don't know why it looks that way. I don't know what I did or didn't do, but whatever. It's there, it works. You can probably put a little table there in the hallway if you want. Here's the one bedroom. Yeah, you can kind of see through the window because of the platform, but we'll just call it aesthetics. I don't know what else to call it. But then over here we have the other bedroom. Same walls, same ceiling, lamps. Everything's kind of basically more or less the same decor style-wise. And then in here we have the bathroom for the upstairs bedrooms. And again, the lattice work for privacy and a shower curtain. We can go this way through this door, and you've got your gaming table. This is all open air, so you can enjoy a game with your friends or your family while you're outside. It's actually kind of a pretty view. Then if we go back downstairs, maybe oh, I went too far. Ha, sorry. I Okay, it's not this wide. There's not that much wide space. But anyway, you come out here to the back patio, you've got your grill, you've got your dining table. You got a kind of a high fence, so in case you have big dogs or little children. But you can go through here, and it's just a little walkway to get to the backyard from the front if you don't want to go through the house, which is fine. And out front, you're gonna have your fountain here and a little patio set. I made this tree smaller by 2. It's the one that has the little hanging lights on it. I don't think it looks so bad. I think it looks pretty cute. You tell me what you think. Did I do okay? And in comparison to the first one or to what I saw online, I think it worked out great. So make sure you guys leave your comments, questions, suggestions below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I've got more coming, so I will see you guys soon. Have fun.